Well, with the ruling of the Court of Appeal for Mr. Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, and this is to get access to election materials, what are the underlying factors, and this is how important are they in his chances, the bid of the opposition to challenge the outcome of the Presidential and National Assembly polls in court? Let's find out more from our guest who is in the studio, Mr. Sonny Awonogo. I'd like to thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we hear that the tribunal granted the PDP candidate access to inspect electoral materials. Is this novel when we look at petition cases in our history?
Well, I think the tribunal was very much in order to grant that particular prayer only, because they anchored their ruling on Section 151 of the Electoral Act. And I think we should always remember that in the court treats with live and practical issues, not academic matters. Now, what we are saying in essence is this. INEC has announced results. Now, you want to verify whether the results announced will tally with what actually happened at the polling centers. That's why you've requested for access to inspect. Now, not only inspecting, you've been allowed to make certified true copies, because in law, they are public documents and only certified true copies are allowed. Now, by the time you go to the realm of trying to say you want to scan, you want to do forensic, you are going academic. And courts only treat live and practical issues. Because, for instance, we all know about technology. It's very mischievous. For instance, if you are scanning anything, if you find out you can crop, that's what they call it, you can crop, you can edit, and for these purposes, the other side is disadvantaged because it's an ex parte application.
So you're saying this is the reason why they rejected the forensic
Perfectly.
examination? It's
not necessary, it's academic. Because like I said, courts deal only with live and practical issues. The essence of you going to the tribunal, you are ventilating your grievances, which is allowed by law, that, oh, I want to be sure that I lost and I lost validly. But I don't think I lost. That's why you want to compare what the evidence was at the election venue with the results announced by INEC. You are going beyond inspecting. You are actually ensuring that at that point, in the presence of INEC representatives, you are having certified true copies of the same things you have inspected, so that you now compare that with what was announced. If there's any discrepancy, then let INEC come to the tribunal to defend itself. So that's the essence. But when you are talking about a scanning and a forensic and all that, you are going academic. Because, for instance, like I said, technology is very mischievous. In the course of scanning, don't forget the other side is not represented. They can't object, I can see you cropping this thing, you are taking this space away, you are doing that, you are editing. They don't have that advantage. That's why you can see the tribunal rightly pointed out that though the counsel for the applicants, Chief Chris Uche, senior advocate, was referring to a previous decision of the tribunal, though they had overruled it because they found out that it conferred undue advantage on applicants, because don't forget the other side is not there. It's an ex parte application, meaning the other side is excluded.
Let's look at the other area. Some people have talked about technicalities and substantive law in the process with regards to getting justice and fairness. How does it come to play in the tribunal?
Now, like they have told you, I think it's just happenstance. Now, maybe people will say that all the people who have been going to the tribunals, they have never won. I think the most important thing, they are forgetting one thing. There is a provision there which says, if these irregularities you are complaining of, they did not substantially affect the outcome of the election, or if in spite of all that, there was substantial compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, the court will be very, very reluctant to subvert the mandate of the electorate. Because that would mean, okay, the electorate has voted, then we are leaving it maybe to the court and eventually the Supreme Court to subvert the mandate. The only time they will feel that they are in order to have done that, because don't forget that the people who voted is a democracy. They voted for their leaders. Whether they are perfect or imperfect is not the business of the judiciary. The business of the judiciary is to ensure that there was observance of the rule of law in accordance with the electoral guidelines laid down. So the issue of a technicalities doesn't come, because, for instance, now they have been granted access. The basic minimum that they need has been granted to them. They are allowed to inspect the materials, entirety of the materials used at the election, in addition to obtaining certified true copies. So let's say, for instance, academically, they say a particular state, we believe we won in this state. This is what my agents gave me. it does not tally with the results INEC announced, it doesn't need violence. It's so simple. The certified true copies you have, you check it with the result INEC announced. If it tallies, you know you are wasting time going to the tribunal. But if there's a discrepancy, you say, yes, okay, I can see a discrepancy here. Go to the tribunal, explain to us why what was on ground was different from what you announced.
All right, we'd like to thank you for sharing your legal expertise with us on the program, Mr.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Bajo, has assured residents of Ogun State of adequate security before, during and after the governorship and House of Assembly elections to allow residents to perform their civic responsibility. He gave the assurance in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, while leading the campaign train of the Ogun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, at the Centenary Hall of the Palace in the state capital. The Vice President, while thanking residents for voting, President Muhammadu Buhari, and also canvassed for votes for the party's candidate, saying that Mr. Abiodun remains the best candidate for the job in the state. The Oyo State Police Command has confirmed that a former deputy governor in the state, Alhaji Taufik, is helping the police in investigations, and this is to unravel those behind the Ibadan Southeast Election Day violence where a man was killed. Briefing journalists at the command headquarters in Ibadan, the Oyo State Police Commissioner confirmed that Mr. Arapaja is at the force headquarters in Abuja to help the police with investigations. Now, he gave this indication while parading 18 suspected criminals who were arrested in the past 2 weeks in the state. Offences ranging from armed robbery, smuggling, illegal possession of human skull, and related offences were the charges against the suspects.
I wish to seize this opportunity to reassure the entire citizenry of Oyo State that while our focus in the last 2 weeks or thereabout was on the electioneering process and safeguarding the process to ensure there was smooth conduct of the elections, we have not lost sight of our primary constitutional responsibilities of the protection of lives and properties. Therefore, in the last 2 weeks, 18 suspects have been arrested for various offenses, including armed robbery, hijacking of trucks, unlawful possession of human skull, stealing / impersonation, recovery of diverted goods, and unlawful possession of firearms.
Still to come on Lunchtime Politics, we get an expert's opinion on the issues of election security in Nigeria. Please join us again.